works just fine. Whoop! Hey, yo, what the fuck? Alright, so in today's video, I thought it would be a good idea to show you around the Medina Toy and Train Show in Medina, Ohio. This was the first show of the season, October 26th, and the selection was incredible this time around, so I thought I'd pull out the camera and show you what was going on today. I hope you enjoy. And right off the bat, we have a beautiful selection of anniversary model cars and a whole bunch of old O-scale locomotives from MTH, Lionel, and Williams. These are really just your run-of-the-mill MTH trains, but this turbine and RDC set looked pretty cool. Here's one of the HO scale sections, and you can see that it's just wall-to-wall vintage locomotives in rolling stock like this Mogul from Mahano and a 060 from Bachmann with lights and smoke, and this Athearn FP45, which I thought looked pretty nice in that Milwaukee Road livery. There were a lot of very, very interesting locomotives in this vendor, like this Tyco Royal Blue, for example. Unfortunately, the headlight is broken off of it, but other than that, it looked pretty decent. Here we have a couple of MTH O-scale locomotives, like a CSX Gevo, which I thought looked pretty interesting. Now, over in one of the Hot Wheels vendors, I find, unbelievably, an entire section of Hot Wheels Highway 35 World Race cars. Now, I am a bit of a fan of World Race, and definitely Acceleracers. They're both really in the same universe, so yeah, but I've seen those franchises a good few times, and I thought I would never in a million years be able to see some more World Race cars in real life. Until today, when I found that section and this little 2-pack with a comic inside. Unfortunately, nobody had any Acceleracers available, not even the Silver Series ones, but other than that, this was an incredible find. I just couldn't believe my eyes. Now, moving right along, there were a couple of Auto Train Dome cars, a Spirit of 76 U-boat, I believe, and a very handsome-looking Burlington Northern E8 from, I believe, Model Power. Now, this was one of my favorite displays. I had to slow down the footage because the video was only a few seconds long, but as you can see here, this guy had a lot of LED light displays with things like Hot Wheels and Jeep and the Mustang logo and a whole bunch of railroad names. Anything you can think of, this guy had an LED light of that particular thing, and I believe his contact information was on the screen for just a few seconds, so if you need a light from this guy, contact him. He's talented. Now, this train set right here gave me a real sense of nostalgia because I remember going to the IGA store when it was open in my hometown until they closed their doors around 2019 or so, and seeing this train set really took me back quite a few years. If only I could walk through the doors of an IGA again, that would be something else. Alright. GMC Cyclone. Very nice. Then there's this one guy that had a vendor with a whole bunch of models of army vehicles like tanks and jeeps and even a helicopter. And this Hummer up here at the back, which was absolutely badass. And then we have a vendor that seems to have an obsession with selling boxcars. Just look at how many there are. One of the more well-known vendors at this show was this one here, which sold a lot of Lionel ready-to-run sets like this Prairie Freight and this Canadian Pacific set. But they also had stuff from Kato and Bachmann, like this Super Chief set, for example, all of which were pretty interesting pieces. And there were plenty of vintage rolling stock and a good few Thomas & Friends items here as well. Here's James! Now we get to one of the layouts of the show, and this was a pretty interesting one. This is an N-scale layout that's pretty huge. They only had one train running, though, so unfortunately I couldn't film much. And then there was this guy who had this really impressive MTH Berkshire. And then I find this really impressive K-Line train set. Wowee, now that's a train set. That's lovely. That's lovely. For $250, that's a steal. That's a steal. Before we get to the next room of the event, you might want to check this vendor out. This is one of my favorite vendors at the show because they always sell some of the most unique O-scale locomotives out there. I vaguely remember seeing an MTH unstreamlined J-Class locomotive being sold here for about $700 a few years ago. Anyway, on to the second room, where I'm immediately greeted by this Polar Express set. Alright. The original Lionel Polar Express ready-to-run set. For that much. I'd honestly buy it. I honestly would. So, it was a real surprise to find that set there, obviously, but it's not the first time I've seen it. Anyway, here's a bunch of vintage HO scale stuff like this IHC Daylight Mikado and Bachmann Royal Castle set. This is where a lot of the harder to find HO scale stuff is usually at. But this right here is what really interested me. There's a set of Walther's Amtrak Superliners being sold for $125, all new in box. Gotta be careful, that's liable to fall. Now over here are some more O-gauge locomotives, like an MTH Galloping Goose, which you saw for a second, a K-Line Crescent Limited, a New York Central tank engine, a Lehigh Valley F unit, and over here is a Williams Brass Southern Crescent Limited, being sold for $250, which is quite a steal for a brass O-scale locomotive. And then there is some other various locomotives from MTH, Weaver, and some more Williams engines, all of which were actually pretty nice to look at. Don't really see these a lot at this particular show. But another thing that I don't see very often, especially at this show, is what you're about to see next. I hope you like standard gauge. If I put my hand right next to this, my goodness. That's right, I found Lionel's standard gauge versions of the Hiawatha and Commodore Vanderbilt. Both of these sets were complete and were well over the $2,000 mark, which, you know, if I had these sets up for sale, I'd probably sell it for about the same price. It's very respectable. And here we have another one of my favorite vendors. Now, here I would usually find a Union Pacific FEF from RIVAROSSI, and this time around I promised myself that if I found one I would get it, but either the guy didn't bring it to the show or it was already bought, because I couldn't find it. But what I did find was a Lifelike Deluxe with an Amtrak F40PH and matching caboose, and an AHM RIVAROSSI Big 6, which I thought was really, really nice looking. And of course, you gotta have a RIVAROSSI Hudson up for sale, but there were no Dreyfuses today. Kinda strange, but still, there were some Hudsons with some Scullin drivers, which I believe they're called Super Hudsons. Down here, there was a Tycho Mantua Dixie Belle locomotive, which it's one of my favorite Tycho locomotives. If I had the extra money, I would have snagged it up right away, but it probably wouldn't run that good. But I also found this Marks Hudson, which not a lot of people have covered. And of course, the lifelike tea kettle. Oh, the little demon tank engine that is the tea kettle. One of the worst locomotives to work on, from what I've heard. And there was a second one at the show, you'll see it later. Towards the end of this aisle were some MTH HO scale diesel locomotives, which were being sold pretty reasonably. And then on the other side were some Broadway Limited Imports Blue Line models. And then, of course, there was that second tea kettle I mentioned. But on this particular one, I remembered that the rods actually broke off the thing. But the highlight of this vendor was this: a brass New York Central Mohawk with a can motor. And not too far away from this vendor was one that was selling an MTH Coors Light Silver Bullet for $800. Man, this show's become a real nostalgia trip. And of course, there were some model railway displays in here, and the interesting thing about these is that they were made in suitcases. Just, there's something about the fact that model railways can be so small and can fit in such compact spaces. It feels strangely cozy. Finally, we get to the third room, and you can see one of the tables is still empty, which was kind of funny. And then there's this guy who's selling bumper stickers of trains. Things like Challengers, the 844, the J-Class, the Daylight. This guy had them all.
I definitely get the Daylight. Does it say New York Yankees on it? Oh yeah, it does say Yankee Train. Yankee with no brim!
And here we have another one of my favorite vendors that sells pretty much just your typical 70s and 80s HO scale trains like the Bachman Burlington Route Northern. This is where I tend to find some unique stuff as well.
Kraus Smuffy.
The guy who ran the vendor was kind enough to demonstrate the Burlington Route locomotive running. He says that he cleaned and serviced all of his locomotives both inside and out, and I just kind of wanted to see the extent of his work.
Oh wow. That runs a lot better than a pancake drive should.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So yeah, that was kind of fun. As I moved further down the aisle, I found a couple of these Proto 2000 BL2 locomotives. One of them had a pretty funny railroad name. I never really heard of it before.
Bangor and Aroostook?
Something here for the New Haven fans?
Just checking this out.
Alright. So this is a set. It's 200.
Here's another model railroad display I found. And the next thing I knew, I found a steam lover's gold mine.
Well, I hit the jackpot. I'm in heaven. All sorts of steam. Oh my goodness. It's just a steam overload. Ooh.
Yeah, you can tell I was pretty excited about this. This guy had every single HO scale steam locomotive there ever was. I mean, we're talking Clementines and Chattanoogas and 060s and this little dockside saddle tank switcher locomotive. He had everything. Literally everything. Okay, maybe not everything. He didn't have a daylight, but you get the point. Everything. He had a good few of these Dixie Bells, and that's not even the real gold. I'll tell you what the real gold is. The real gold is being able to give away a genuine RIVAROSSI Atlantic for $45! Oh, fuck me! Did he not have a clue what he was selling? I mean, hey, he probably didn't even know anyway, so I'm not trying to disrespect the guy, but dude, all these other engines that you have here, you could sell off probably 3/4 of the entire lot, and you wouldn't even be able to meet the current aftermarket price of that Atlantic. That's how valuable it is. I was so lucky to find it. And now I regret not buying it. Oh, why did I pass that up? It's the MTH Daylight all over again, man! Ah. He also had the Golden Spike locomotives. But yeah, that's pretty much what I found at the show, so let's head back home and show off what I bought. Alright, so we are back home now, and I have everything all gathered up here to show you. This is what I bought at the show today, and we'll start with this bag here. I bought SMT's controller, the MRC Tech 3 Power Command, with the extra gauges on there. Bought it for $35, and apparently this looked like it was about double the price, because I don't think the seller said anything about it being used, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what this looks like. Okay, yeah, it has been used. But yeah, you can see there. Looks really, really good. 30 volts. So this is definitely the most powerful transformer that I have. It used to be my Bachmann Spectrum Magnum, which I actually got not too long ago, but now it's already been dethroned. So this is going to be pretty fun. I'll say that. I don't know if it'll actually work. I don't even know if the gauges are going to work. But either way, I'm kind of happy that I have this now. I've been wanting this for a while, but it's been kind of tricky to find one for a good price. Now, another thing in this bag, and I think it's like a curse. I got another free catalog. Now, like, this is not the first time I got a catalog for free, but, like, again, this is like a curse. I feel like if I ever do fan mail, people are just going to be sending me free catalogs left and right. But, yeah, you can see here, the pages have barely been touched. There's no stains or anything on them. Everything still looks pretty clear and easy to understand. So, yeah, that's cool. I did indeed get a diesel for the first time in ages. Oh, yeah, got a little caboose. It is an Athearn Blue Box, Pennsylvania switcher. As you can see here, it said 25 on the sticker, but I got both this and the caboose for only 20. And I'm just going to try to take this sticker off. Oh. And the residue is sticking on the body. I'll take care of that soon. Now, I heard a lot of good things about these Athearn Blue Box engines, and I'm fairly confident that this is actually going to start right up, but we'll never know until we actually get to that. Next, I have superliners. Finally got some proper superliners. I got Coach, Sightseer Lounge, or Observation Car, depending on what you prefer to call it, a sleeper, and a diner car. Now, I do already have a Walther Superliner. I'm going to get it right now. I do indeed have a Walther Superliner. It is a transition car, but the couplers are in pretty rough shape. So, clearly this is going to need a little bit of work if it's going to ride the rails again. In fact, one of the couplers is actually missing quite a few of its parts. And it is a little bit dirty. There's quite a few smudges on it, but I think with a little bit of wiping with some warm water, I think that'll be all good. But yeah, and this entire 4-car set cost me $100. Very nice. Now, this next thing that I got here, this is my first Mahano engine. And I heard a lot of good things about Mahano, too. It's a Mountain. Now, you probably saw in the videos that there was this massive vendor with all sorts of HO scale steam locomotives, and this was among them. I was debating on whether I should get the Bachmann Pennsy K4 that was there. It was the 1361 with a modern drive, or this. So I chose this. They have tested it, and it did run pretty darn good, but regardless, I'm going to see if it'll work better on my track, because theirs was a little bit dirty. Just move all this out of the way. And finally, we get to this. This was a real surprise. I was just about to leave the show. I just bought those superliners when I found this. It is, and I think I have it the right way up. Yep, I do. Ready? It's a nickel plate Road 280! Truth be told, I kind of wanted a 280 from Bachmann for quite a bit. I am the owner of an IHC 280, and I thought it was pretty good, but I just figured maybe I needed something a little bit, you know, cutting edge. And here I am struggling to get this out without breaking anything. So detailed. Oh my gosh, look at this. Just look at that. All the wires and stuff are on there. Nothing's broken off. Number 492, as you can see. It's beautiful. It really is. This is pretty clean. And we'll just take the tender out next. Well, it doesn't say anything about there being DCC. So this could just be, maybe it's DCC ready, I'm not sure. We'll see when we test it. But yeah, this right here, for 125 bucks, it looks super good. I love it. I actually love it. We'll just get that on there. Yeah. So, yeah. 2 steamies and a diesel switcher. Let's see if it all works. So we're going to be testing the engine soon, but before that, I'd like to test out this new transformer. Hopefully, it actually does work. Just give it the power here. I have it hooked up to the main line. Here we go. Yep. Got the ghost of Boston Bay on the line. That's full speed right there. And doesn't feel that much different from the Magnum. Yeah, I could even see the current draws very good. This could be really useful, actually. Now, let's try the momentum. You can see how it slowly rises. Very slowly. Turn off the momentum and we'll bring it back around and we'll begin testing our locomotives. So, I've brought over the locomotives and we'll begin with our blue box diesel. No idea what type of diesel this is. I might have to do my research on it, but if anyone knows what it is, let me know. There you go. Check power on. Beautiful. Current draw is a little high, but seems to be doing okay. And it derailed. One of the wheels derailed, but it's okay. I have a couple of re-railers on this side, so. No, it didn't stay on. Doesn't seem to want to stay on the rails there. That's really funny. Yeah, that's really kind of strange. Yeah, I don't know. It's just that single wheel. Having the same problem as my my Bachmann Northern over there, but other than that, it seems to be running okay, so yeah, I can't really say I can complain. Gotta do something about these wheels. I smell ozone. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something about that current draw. Might have to clean the wheels, that may just be it, but let's get our mountain on the track next. Alright, now we have our mountain on the track. Let's see how this one does. Fairly confident we'll start right up. Yep, as I thought. Wrong direction, though. Look at that. Starts right up. That's beautiful. Really shows you how much more work Mahano puts into their locomotives than other brands. See how it does in the other direction here. Just as good. I don't think it has a backup light though, does it? Oh yeah, it does. Alright, let's try with momentum. Fantastic. Oh, this is... Now I figured out what that does. Apparently this is your brake. It actually lowers the volume. I mean, the voltage. I mean until it comes to a halt. That's nice. Alright, well... Time for you. Well, I'll tell you what, we've had pretty good luck so far, and I'm fairly confident that this consolidation is going to start right up. It's a Bachmann Spectrum, and it's pretty new, so, you know, I'm, again, pretty confident it'll start right up. I don't know if it has the decoder or not, so we'll just start it right up. Oh. Up, tender derailed. Oh boy. Well, at least we know it's working. That's good. Yeah, look at that go. That looks great. Wow. Yeah, I can hear a pretty familiar sound there. Let's hook up the DCC controller and see if we actually have a decoder in there. Well, I got the easy command out, and I have it wired up to the track. All I gotta do is just plug it into the wall, and then the truth will be revealed. So it is DCC ready. Okay. Okay, now we have our Superliner train set up, and it looks spectacular, and it looks like all the coaches are cooperating with the 26-inch radius curves. But also, I did some work on the transition sleeper. I replaced the couplers and gave it a little bit of a clean. But I still feel like I'm missing something. The proper locomotive. Even though I don't have an Amtrak diesel on hand, I do have one of their special train candidates. Pretty much. Come on, you know I had to. Alright, well, here we go. All aboard! Oh no, somebody's stuck on the track! The brakes are broken! We can't stop! Idiot! Well, randomness aside, I think this is a pretty nice batch of engines. And I think that's an even better batch of rolling stock. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Cheerio, chaps! don't forget to check out the main channel. Hey, who put that there? Amtrak doesn't use cabooses!